Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Let's start today lying down. So what I'd like to invite you to do is come all the way down to your belly on your mat. And you can just make a pillow with your hands, rest your head, close your eyes. And I'd like you to just start by breathing right here in this space, just resting. And as though it is Saturday morning and we have nowhere to go and nothing to do, start to find some little movements, maybe shifting your hips from side to side. And then allowing the head to rest completely on the mat. Bring your arms out to either side. And along with shifting your hips, you can begin to just rock your torso back and forth. And depending on how this feels, you might begin to create a little more movement. So maybe we begin shifting into wider shoulder circles, maybe rocking a little more from side to side. And as you breathe, as you rock, and as you massage the front of your body, you might even begin to move over from side to side, just doing a little bit of rolling around. In prana flow yoga, this is called holy rolling, which I always thought was pretty funny. And then begin to find your way back to center. Just coming back to your belly. Once again, cradling your head. Take a moment right here to set your intention for your practice today. And then simply walk your hands back, turn your toes under. Let's find tabletop. From here, let's begin to move our spines a bit. So on your inhale, roll your heart forward, tip your tailbone to the sky. And then exhale, coil your belly in and drop the crown of your head. Inhaling to roll open. And exhale to coil. Just feel this happen a few times, maybe beginning to move into free-form movement, sahaja expression. Again, connecting with a little bit of intuitive, fluid movement, figuring out what feels good. And then staying in that intuitive space, turn your toes under and begin to make your way back toward your first downward facing dog of our practice this morning. And just walk it out. Find some ease. Stabilize and then begin to walk your feet to your hands and let this take a little while, right? Nice slow walk, even if it means your knees are really bent when you get to the top of the mat. And once you've found that space, surrender into your forward fold right here. Let your neck be long, let your head be heavy. You can find some movement if that would feel good. You can always rock from side to side. And then come to stillness. Bend your knees. Exhale, roll your way all the way up to standing. Inhale to rise and open. Exhale, hands to heart center. Release your hands down by your sides. Set up your first Tadasana at the top of your mat, as always allowing that first Tadasana to be very conscious. So we really feel that rooting energy reaching down into the earth, and then that rising prana engaging all the way up the body. Strong quads, strong core, shoulders rolling back and down. On your inhale, sweep your fingertips to the sky. Exhale to fold forward. Bend your knees and plant your fingertips. Inhale to step your right foot back to lunge. Hug your midline so we feel our inner thighs drawing toward each other. Inhale to press your right heel away, look forward. Exhale, coiling in, scoop your belly. Inhaling to open, to expand. And then exhale, coiling in. And we just pulse right here, flowing lunge, following our breath. Let your next inhale bring you to lunge. Plant your hands. Press it back. Find your downward facing dog. Again, walking it out a little bit just because we're still opening up, still getting loose and warm. It's okay to bend one knee and then the other. Drop one hip and then the other. Just noticing where those little points of soreness or tension are and soothing them. And then stabilize. Inhale to look forward. Exhale, roll your body all the way out to plank. Let's start with knees lowered today. And we'll just cultivate a little bit of strength right here. So we're going to keep our core nice and engaged. Knees, hips, and shoulders are in one long line. Little push-up series. Bend your elbows 1 inch. Inhaling all the way up. Exhaling 2 inches. Inhale, and then exhale, come halfway down and we'll hover. So you want to feel your elbows drawing toward your sides. And then with control, come all the way down to the mat, walk your toes back and bring your fingertips wide. Begin to roll one shoulder and then the other. Free your spine. Return your hands to beneath your shoulders, turn your toes under, press back. Find your downward facing dog. Bring your toes to touch at the back of the mat. Now inhale, sweep your right leg to the sky, keeping your hips facing the mat. Bend your right knee and press your heel to the sky and look forward. Exhale to soften, lowering that right knee. Inhaling, pressing that right heel to the sky, look forward. Exhale. 2 more times. And then this time on your exhale, coil your right knee in, shift forward, and place your foot, finding lunge. And remembering that multi-step movements are fine here. So plant your hands evenly. Once more, hug that midline. So think about that drawing in and up. Inhale to look forward. Press your left heel away. Exhale, flowing lunge, scooping the belly in. Inhaling, pressing the left heel away. And exhale to coil. And just follow your breath right here. On your next inhale, come to lunge. Exhale, step together and fold, soften. On your next exhale, bend your knees, roll your way all the way up to standing. Inhale, rise and open. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Check in with your Tadasana, reposition if you need to. Inhale, find that lifting, rising energy. Exhale, bow to your light within. On this inhale, halfway rise, Ardha Uttanasana. Roll your heart forward, press your hips away. Exhale to soften. 2 more times, inhaling, halfway rise. One more time, halfway. And exhale, plant your fingertips. Inhale to step your left foot back to lunge. Let's get a nice deep stretch into the backs of our legs this time. Inhale to look forward. Exhale, scoop in, shift back, right toes rise. Inhaling forward to lunge. And exhale, coiling back, right toes rising. And just follow your breath right here. On this next inhale, plant your hands, press it back. Downward facing dog. Stabilize and inhale to look forward. Exhale, roll your body all the way out to plank. And then your next exhale brings you all the way down to the earth. Walk your toes back to create space. Now, before we go any further, take a moment to draw your navel toward your spine. So even as we're lying on the mat, we can feel a little bit of space up here on the mat underneath our belly buttons, as though we could slide a little penny right there. And we want to keep that spot engaged anytime we're working on back bending stuff, just to help protect our lower back. So draw your navel in. Now, keeping that, point your toes away. Let them become the distance of the mat. So we're going to keep our feet a little bit wide. Keeping your core engaged, float your fingertips. All right. On your inhale, toes come together, arms reach forward. Exhaling, toes wide, fingertips come to the sides. Inhale. And exhaling. Now check in, make sure you're still drawing your navel toward your spine. I always like to pretend I'm swimming here. On your next exhale, both hands come down to the mat. Turn your toes under, press back. Find your downward facing dog and bring your toes to touch. On your inhale, sweep your left leg to the sky. So once again, we're going to keep our hips oriented toward the mat and then bend that left knee. On your inhale, press your left heel to the sky, look forward. Exhale to soften. Inhaling, pressing that heel away. Exhale. Keep pulsing right here, pressing the heel. And on your next exhale, let's coil that left knee in, shift forward, and place your foot. Space your fingertips evenly, look forward. Exhale, shift back, left toes rise. Inhaling forward to lunge. And exhale, shifting back. Inhaling forward. Follow your breath. Let your next inhale bring you all the way forward to lunge. Exhale to step together and fold. Soften. Bend your knees, exhale, roll your way all the way up to standing. Inhale, rise and open. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Check in with your mountain pose, with your Tadasana. Inhale to sweep your fingertips to the sky. Now this time, exhale, sweep your fingertips behind you and interlace. Engage your belly, so feel that navel to spine action, and then inhale. Lift your heart as you lengthen your arms, staying engaged through the core. Exhale to soften. Let's feel that again. Inhaling, lifting from behind the breastbone, core is strong, arms long. Exhale. One more time. This time on your exhale, fold forward. Fingertips can stay interlaced. Let's just stretch out our chest, shoulders, upper arms right here. Let your head dangle. So we try to release any tension in the neck and head, and then just let the force of gravity help you stretch your shoulders. And release. Both hands come down to the mat. Plant your fingertips. Inhale to step your right foot back to lunge. Lower that right knee down and walk your hands up your left knee. On your inhale, sweep your fingertips forward and up. Exhale, open out to either side and really stretch across the chest. Try to keep our elbows wide here, both hands down. Inhale to open. Now as you feel that chest stretch, melt your right hip toward the mat. Inhale. On this last one, both hands come down to the mat. Knees together. Keep your hips high as you walk your hands forward. Melt your heart through puppy dog pose, Anahatasana. Remember that if you have really open shoulders here, you can tent your fingers to give yourself a little more space to stretch. And then roll your way all the way out and down onto your belly. So this time, we're gonna reach our right hand forward and just let that hand come down to the earth. Bend your left knee and reach your left hand back to find that foot. So remembering what we did in the last section when we were on our bellies, draw your navel toward your spine. Okay, keep that. Now on your inhale, float into half locust. So we press into that left hand, we float arms and legs off the mat. Exhale to soften. Inhale, navel to spine, float into half locust. Exhale. Inhale, Ardha Shalabhasana. Exhale, one more time. And release, come down to the mat. Rest your head, rock your hips from side to side. And then set that up on the other side. Left arm reaches forward. The right hand reaches back, right knee bends. Find your right foot. Draw your navel toward your spine. Inhaling, floating up. Exhaling, softening. Inhaling, half locust. Exhale. We just pulse right here. And remember, we want to keep drawing our navels toward our spines this whole time. Again, that's all about protecting our lower backs. Exhale, come on down to the mat. Make that pillow with your hands. Rest your head. Rock your hips from side to side. You can add in windshield wiper legs if that feels good. In my body, it always feels nice, so I'm a big fan of windshield wipers. And then press it back, downward facing dog. Bring your toes to touch at the back of the mat. Inhale, sweep your right leg to the sky. This time, bend your right knee. Press your heel over to the left. Nice big open hip stretch here. Exhale to soften a little bit. Inhaling, pressing open. Exhaling to soften. On this next exhale, coil your right knee in, shift forward, place your right foot between your hands and lower your left knee down to the mat. Walk your hands up. Let's find that heart opener. Inhale, sweep your fingertips to the sky. Exhale, opening out. Again, nice deep stretch across the chest. Exhale, both hands down. Inhale. As you stretch, melt your left hip. Feel your body rooting to the earth. On this exhale, both hands come down to the mat. Turn your left toes under, lift your back knee. Look forward and step together. Surrender, forward fold. Come to stillness, bend your knees. Exhale, roll your way up. Inhale to rise. Exhale, hands to heart center. Last time through our opening namaskar, our opening salutation. Find your Tadasana. Inhale, sweep your fingertips to the sky. Exhale, sweep your fingertips behind you. So this time, rather than interlace, we're going to bring our hands to the small of our backs. Now, draw your navel toward your spine. That part's very important, so we want to keep engaged that whole time. On your inhale, lift from behind your heart as you draw your elbows toward each other. Core stays strong here. So in yoga, back bends come from the heart space, not from the waist. Exhale to soften. Inhale, core strong, lift from behind the heart. Exhale, and one more time. And release, interlace your fingertips. Roll your shoulders back and down. Inhale to fold forward. Exhaling, releasing into that space, letting the shoulders open, stretch it out. And both hands come down to the mat. Plant your fingertips. Inhale to step your left foot back to lunge. Lower your left knee down. Walk your hands up your right knee. So we sink that left hip toward the mat. Inhale, sweep your left hand out to the side, up and over. And we just settle and sink. Really feel that left side opening. Exhale, lower that left hand down. We'll feel that on the right. Right hand reaches out to the side, up and over. Again, rooting through the hips to feel all of that length through our sides, the spaces between the ribs. And release. On your inhale, sweep your left arm forward and up. Now pause about halfway to engage your belly, navel to spine. All the way up, baby back bend. And exhale, both hands down to the mat, knees together. Hips over the knees, walk your hands forward, puppy dog pose, Anahatasana. And let's find a little spinal flow here. On your exhale, scoop your belly in, round through your spine. Inhale, melt your heart toward the earth. Exhale, coiling in, rounding. Inhale. On this inhale, roll your way all the way out and down onto your belly. Walk your toes back, create space. Fingertips come to directly beneath your shoulders. On your inhale, roll your shoulders all the way up, back, and down. Light pressure in the hands as we engage the core. Cobra pose. Exhale to soften. Inhaling, rolling open. And on this exhale, turn your toes under, press back. Downward facing dog. Bring your toes to touch. Inhale to sweep your left leg to the sky. Bend your left knee and press your heel over to the right. Nice deep hip stretch. Inhaling to create more space. Exhaling, releasing out of that stretch a little bit. So we find that subtle pulse of prana, of breath and movement in our bodies. On your next exhale, coil your left knee in. Shift forward and place your foot. Lower your right knee all the way down to the mat and walk your hands up. Inhale, sweep your right hand out to the side, up and over. Reach to the left and sink through that right hip, nice and deep. Just linger here, stretching it out. Release that right hand down. Let's feel that on the left. Inhale out and up and over. And release that left hand down. Inhale to sweep your right hand forward. Pause it about halfway. Engage your belly. Protect your lower back. Inhale, sweep that right hand to the sky. Baby back bend. Lift from behind the heart. Core is strong. Exhale, both hands down. Turn your right toes under, lift that back knee. Look forward and step together. Bow over your legs. Find some ease right here. Bend your knees, come to stillness and roll your way all the way up to standing. Inhale, rise and open. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, find your rise. Now this time, exhale to fold and plant your hands at the top of the mat. So depending on how your body feels, your fingertips can be at the bottom, at the top of the mat. You can also place blocks under your hands here. If you have tight hamstrings like mine, this might be a better option. On your inhale, sweep your right leg to the sky. Exhale to coil knee to knee. Inhale to open. So we're going to pulse with standing split here. Now, as you open, you can begin to turn your right hip open a little bit more. This will give us a little more height, a little more space. On your next exhale, step your right foot all the way back and lower down to your right knee. Wiggle your left foot wide, hands come to the inside. Bend your elbows to float your heart a little lower. Now you might stay right here for a variation on lizard pose. If it's open to you, you can come all the way down to your forearms and hug your left knee toward your left shoulder. Let me just stretch right here. Walk your hands up, knees come together, and then simply walk your hands back. So we're going to find high kneeling. We're going to do a little bit of working camel pose. So before class started, I mentioned that with yoga back bends, we want to go to our expression and then dial one click back. And that's just because although a yoga stretch might not hurt during class, it might about 4 hours from now. Ask me how I know. So for camel pose, we're going to take a lot of steps along the path. I invite you to stop at the one that feels good in your body. Now, if you're practicing on a very hard surface, it's always okay to double your mat over to make a little bubble here to cushion your knees, especially if you're in my yoga over 40 crowd. So once our knees are gone, they're gone for good, so we want to take good care of them. So root those bad boys down. Now engage your belly, tailbone reaches long, so that same action we've been working on all practice, right? Strong core, shoulders roll back and down. On your inhale, sweep your fingertips to the sky. Exhale, sweep your fingertips behind you. Let's start with heart pose arms, right? So we lengthen the arms, lift from behind the breastbone, strong core. And maybe this is perfect, and maybe you stay right here. Maybe you bring your fingertips to the small of your back, you re-engage your belly, shoulders roll back and down, and maybe you find a little bit more space in that back bend. Now, if it does not involve reaching into the next county, You can reach back and find your heels, staying strong through your core, lifting your heart, and we experience camel pose. And remember, in camel pose, you don't have to have your head thrown back. In many bodies, that's not comfortable. In mine, it's certainly not. So I always imagine that I've got, like, I don't know, about a grapefruit space between my chin and my chest, and that tends to feel pretty good. Now, wherever you are, with control, let your strong core draw you up and fold forward, hips sink back. Just coming down to a modified child's pose. You can rock from side to side here if that would feel good. Fingertips can be behind you, next to you, in front. Again, wherever that feels nice in your body. Roll your way back up. If your mat is doubled over, go ahead and roll it back out and press back, downward facing dog. Bring your toes to touch. Inhale to look forward. Exhale to bring your feet to your hands. You can walk or hop. Once you get there, halfway rise. And exhale to fold. Plant your fingertips at the top of the mat. So again, you have the option for fingertips to mat or fingertips to blocks. Inhale to sweep your left leg to the sky. Exhale, coil knee to knee. Inhale to open. Exhaling to coil. Now as we pulse in standing split, begin to open your left hip out. And you'll find a little bit more height there, a little more openness. On your next exhale, step your left foot all the way back and down. Lower down to your left knee and wiggle your right foot wide. Bring your hands to the inside for a lizard stretch. So from here you can bend your elbows, lowering your heart, and maybe this is enough. If it's open for you, you can come all the way down to your forearms and draw that right knee toward your right shoulder. Just getting that nice deep stretch in the hips. And walk your hands up, knees together. This time we walk our hands forward, melt your heart. Anahatasana, puppy dog pose. And then roll your way all the way out and down onto your belly. So options, right? There are always options in practice, particularly a backbend practice. So start by walking your toes back. Now point your toes away. Try to touch the back wall of the room. Roll your shoulders back and down, draw your navel toward your spine, and then flicker your fingers. Sweep your fingertips behind you, locust pose. Exhale to soften. Inhale to lift. So this is our starting back bend. Maybe you stay right here. Maybe you interlace your fingers and roll your shoulders back and down. Exhaling to soften. Just pulsing, remembering to keep our core engaged. Maybe if it's open to you, you bend your knees and find your feet or your ankles. On your next inhale, press into your feet, bow pose. Exhale to soften. Inhaling, Dhanurasana, bow pose. And release. Come all the way down to the mat. Make a pillow with your hands, rest your head, and rock your hips from side to side. Return your fingertips to beneath your shoulders. Turn your toes under, press back. Find your way to downward facing dog. On your inhale, look forward. Exhale to bring your feet to your hands. You can walk or hop. Halfway rise when you get there. And then exhale to fold. Roll your way all the way up to standing. Inhale, rise and open. Exhale, hands to heart center. So we're going to do a little bit of standing balance work. Let me adjust my camera so I'm no longer decapitated on your screen. So if you already know that standing balance is not your jam, feel free to be near a surface that you can use to touch, just in case you feel a little bit wobbly. So a chair, shelving unit, couch, whatever's nearby. So let's start by rooting down into our right foot. So we really want to feel all of that energy moving downward. Engage your belly, shoulders roll back and down, the same action as the rest of class. Start by coming to the toe of your left foot and then floating that left knee. Begin to find some hip mandalas, so moving that knee all the way around in a big circle. Just drawing a huge mandala with that hip. Now, on one of those passes around, as you come around to the front, catch your left knee, flex your foot. Re-engage, staying lifted, staying strong. Open your left knee out to the side. Now, you can keep your hand exactly as it is, depending on how you're feeling. Maybe your left peace fingers find that left foot, and you press into your left heel for standing big toe pose. Now, wherever you are, we're going to keep that leg floating, but we're going to bring the left knee down to align with the right. So take a moment, recenter, feel your hips nice and even. Try to bring that left knee exactly into alignment with the right. And then reach your left hand back to find your left foot. Re-engage, right? Nice and strong through the belly. Begin to press into your left hand with your left foot. So we're moving toward Nataraja here, toward the Divine Dancer. There's a temptation when we get there to fold forward because that gives us the feeling that we have, and see that throws me off. It gives us the feeling that we have more space in this, this half bow shape we're making. But what I invite you to do instead is to keep your heart lifted, belly strong, and we focus on staying up. You can float your right hand wherever feels good to help you balance. Just breathing. And gently finding your way back to standing. Let's float that left knee out in front, open it out to the side, and place your foot for tree pose. So that foot can come to your inner thigh, maybe it comes to your calf. Let me turn so I'm facing you. And then bring your hands to your heart. And we just come back to breath right here. Rooting down to rise. And release, wiggle it out. Nicely done. So let's feel that on the other side. So we're going to root that left foot this time. Again, find that nice, strong, balanced stack of muscles. Draw your right knee in and begin to find your hip mandala. So opening around in a nice big circle. Now on one of those passes around, catch your right knee and flex your foot, and then open that right knee out to the side. So we're standing with a nice open hip. Stay exactly as you are, or maybe your right peace fingers find that right big toe, and you press into the heel for standing big toe pose. And again, just breathe. Now, hopefully you kept your balance, since I didn't. And we're going to release that right foot. Draw your right knee back to alignment with your left. So we're just standing. Sometimes it can help to imagine like a peg leg underneath that right knee, like we're all pirates. So from here, reach your right hand back, find your right foot, engage your core first, and then begin to press into that right hand. So strong core, pressing back. Again, we want to keep our hearts lifted here. You can float your left hand to wherever feels good to help you balance in Nakaraja, in the dancer pose. And release. Drawing that right knee forward again. Open it out to the side. Place your right foot for tree pose for Vrikshasana. Hands come to the heart. Find a spot to gaze at that does not move. And just come back to your intention for your practice. And with control, release that right foot down and wiggle it out. Take a nice wide stance on the mat. Let your toes be wide, let them face forward. Inhale to sweep your fingertips to the sky. Exhale, pour all the way forward. Now, find your wide-legged forward fold first. So just let your head be heavy. Let your neck be long. And then walk your hands as far forward as you can reach. Hook your fingertips into the mat, melt your heart, and tip your tailbone toward the sky. From here, walk your hands back, reach them through your legs, and let the crown of your head dangle toward the earth. Really getting a nice deep stretch. Remember, you can always shift where your weight is. You can experiment with shifting it more into your heels, more into your feet, just to see where that helps you stretch. Walk your hands all the way forward. Walk them over to the right side and bend your right knee. Press the edge of your left foot away. Inhale to center, walk over to the left. Bending that knee, press the edge of your right foot away. It's just a little flowing Skandasana, staying nice and open through the hips. Let's walk those hands all the way over to the right side, turning. Both feet face the back of the room, and we're going to lower that right knee down. Now, heel toe your left foot toward your right hand. Sorry, your right foot toward your left hand and lower all the way down to the mat. I'm teaching mirror image and just got a little bit lost. So, with that right foot forward for pigeon pose, on your inhale, roll your shoulders back and down. Now, notice how pigeon pose is sitting in your body. If you find that you shifted off to the right hand side, you can either decrease the angle in that right leg, or you can place a block or a cushion underneath your right glute. So, nice and lifted. Exhale to bow forward. And before we surrender, let's feel pigeon waterfall again. So inhaling, rolling, right? We're still experiencing that back bending action. Exhale, this time come all the way down to prostration. Bow over your right leg. And just breathe. As always, in these pauses, we can cultivate our intention. We can cultivate the energy we are trying to bring to our practice or to the world. And then walk your hands up. Now from here, begin to lift and lower that left foot. And we're going to reach that left hand back to find the foot and just begin to gently draw it in, getting a nice deep quad stretch here. Now from here, you can root your right hand. Use that as a counterpoint to create a nice long spine and an open heart. And then rather than stretching the quad, we'll get a nice shoulder stretch. Press your left hand, or rather your left foot into your left hand, and feel that action of half bow and of divine dancer. Same motion, different spaces. And release. Both hands down to the mat. Press back, child's pose, toes touching. Sink your hips toward your heels and melt your heart toward the mat. Turn your toes under and press back. Downward facing dog. From here, let's step that left foot forward and walk our hands to the broad side of the mat. Now, walk your hands to your left side. We're going to pivot on that left foot if we're not already there. Turning both feet to face the short side of the mat. Lower down to your right knee. Heel toe your left foot toward your right hand and lower down for pigeon pose. So same adjustment on this side. Just notice how this is feeling in your body. If you find your left hip shifting off, you can always place a block underneath it, or you can decrease the bend, the angle of this leg. So once you've found your pigeon pose, shoulders roll back and down. Exhale to bow forward. Let's feel that again. Opening, rolling back, pigeon waterfall. Exhale this time, surrender all the way down to the earth. And just sink into that left hip. Breathe. Coming back to your intention. Walk your hands up and begin to lift and lower your right foot. On one of those passes, reach your right hand back and find your foot. And we'll start with the quad stretch. So just gently drawing that right foot toward the back of the leg, stretching it out. And then transitioning the grip, we can begin to press that right foot into that right hand to stretch the shoulder open, lifting from behind the heart, staying strong through the core. This is half bow in pigeon. And release. Press back, child's pose, toes touching, knees wide, melt to the earth. And then walk your hands back and sweep your feet around to the front. Let's roll all the way down onto the mat. Draw your knees in. Rock from side to side. So we've been in our backs a lot today, so now it's time to do something else. So let's massage that spot first. So this side to side movement might feel good. Another thing that might feel really nice here is to draw a big circle with your knees. Depending on where your body stores tension, where you experience strain in your back and your hips, this might feel really nice. So pick the self-massage version that feels good. So either rocking or finding those circles, or maybe some combination of the two. Come to center. Let your knees open out and press your feet to the sky. Find your big toes. From here, navel to spine, so same action, and then root your tailbone toward the mat. Press your heels to the sky. Happy baby. Ananda Balasana. Really feeling that connection all the way from tailbone to shoulders, rooting us down to the mat. Now this might feel great, just staying right here and stretching. Also, you can rock back and forth in Ananda Balasana. So if in Happy Baby it feels good to rock from side to side, feel free to introduce that movement. It's different for everyone. Come to center, to stillness, draw your knees together. Open your arms out to either side and drop your knees over to your right-hand side. Turn your head to the left. Now, try to keep your knees a little higher than your waist in order to get the best lower back stretch here. And just let the earth hold you. Inhale to come back to center. Exhale to drop your knees off to the left and turn your head to look to the right. Again, just letting the earth hold you. Come back to stillness at the center. And now if there is any additional movement, any asana, anything you would like to feel before we close for the day, take a moment to honor that request. So it might be an inversion, might just be legs up the wall or shoulder stand. Could be another twist or fold. Whatever your body is asking for, that is what you put right here. And then as you are ready, begin to make your way into your Shavasana. Remember that you have options. So you can lie flat on the mat with your toes falling out to either side, palms facing the sky. If you notice that this causes discomfort in your lower back, bend your knees and bring your feet the distance of the mat. Let your knees fall together so that your bones can support you. Remember, you can always take your Shavasana in seated meditation as well, whatever feels most restful for your body. Allow yourself this gift of stillness, this gift of being, rather than a human doing, a human just being. Take a moment to consciously soften all of the places where your body is touching the earth. Just feel them melt. Feel how rooted and connected you are. Relax your jaw. Relax your eyes and your forehead. And just let go and float. Allow your breath to create space within your body. Begin to find some little movements of your fingertips and your toes. Just bringing you back to this day, to this time. Point your toes away and reach your arms up overhead. Take a nice deep breath in, full body stretch. And then exhale to draw your knees into your chest. Rock from side to side. Eventually find your way all the way over to your right side. And just soften into the posture of the sleeping child. Whenever you are ready and you feel your practice is complete, use your hands to help press yourself up to a nice, easy seated position. Bring your hands to heart center and close your eyes. We will close our practice with a round of Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, a prayer for peace. Inhale. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me this morning. Namaste. Thank you so much, my friends.